Hello everyone, I am going to explain about Wodeyars of Mysore. ತಮಗಾಗಿ ತಂದಿರುವಂಥ ಹೊಸ ವಿಷಯ ಒಡೆಯರ್ಸ್ ಆಫ್ ಮೈಸೂರಿನ ಒಡೆಯರನ್ನು ಕುರಿತು ತಿಳಿದುಕೊಳ್ಳೋಣ. The Wodeyars, alternatively spelled Wodeyar or Wodeyar dynasty, was a noble family descended from herders in the Indian subcontinent that ruled the kingdom of Mysore from 1399 to 1950. With an interruption, they were a feudatory house under Vijayanagara Emperor, took advantage of weakening Vijayanagara Empire and become free. Raja Wodeyar secured Srirangapatna in 1610, which was the seat of Vijayanagara Viceroya. The kingdom was incorporated into the domain of India after its independence from British rule. From 1339 to 1610, Wodeyars were the Lingayat faith and promoted it as their state religion. ಯಾವ ರೀತಿಯಾಗಿ ರಾಜ ಒಡೆಯರು ವಿಜಯನಗರ ಸಾಮಂತಿಕೆಯನ್ನು ಮುಂದುವರಿಸಿಕೊಂಡು ಕೊನೆಯಲ್ಲಿ ಸ್ವತಂತ್ರಗೊಳಿಸಿಕೊಳ್ಳುತ್ತಾರೆ ಎಂಬುದನ್ನು ತಿಳಿದುಕೊಂಡಿದ್ದೇವೆ. ಒರಿಜಿನ್ ಆಫ್ ನೇಮ್, ಒಡೆಯರು ಅಥವಾ ಒಡೆಯರ್ ಎಂಬ ಹೆಸರು ಹೇಗೆ ಬಂತು ಎನ್ನುವುದನ್ನು ತಿಳಿದುಕೊಳ್ಳೋಣ. ದ ವರ್ಡ್ ಒಡೆಯಾರ್, ಕನ್ನಡದಲ್ಲಿ ಒಡೆಯರ್, ಇನ್ ಕನ್ನಡ ಮೀನ್ಸ್ ಲಾರ್ಡ್ ಆರ್ ಲಾರ್ಡ್ಶಿಪ್. Historical records use the term Wodeyar when referring to the dynasty's royal family members. The W is silent. In more modern Kannada translation, the variation Wodeyar is also used. History of Wodeyars. ಒಡೆಯರ ಒಂದು ಇತಿಹಾಸವನ್ನು ತಿಳಿದುಕೊಳ್ಳೋಣ. According to legend, the Wodeyars trace their ancestry to Lord Krishna and arrived from the Dwaraka, and on seeing the natural beauty of the place made Mysore their abode. However, historians Shyam Prasad, Nabohiro Ota, David Leeming, Aya Ikemes instead suggest that the Wodeyars were local feudal lords who adopted Punic legend to claim themselves as direct descendants of legendary lunar dynasty. The dynasty was established in 1399 by the Yaduraya Wodeyar. He ruled Mysore and the Vijayanagara Empire until 1423. After Yaduraya Wodeyar, the Mysore kingdom was succeeded by the Wodeyar rulers. The kingdom remained fairly small during this early period and was a part of Vijayanagara Empire. After the fall of Vijayanagara Empire in 1565, the kingdom of Mysore became independent and remained so until 1799. During the reign of Krishnadevaraya Wodeyar, Krishnaraja Wodeyar III, 1799 to 1868, the region came under the control of British Empire. His successors changed the English spelling of their royal name to Wodeyar and took the title Bahadur. The last two monarchs of the dynasty, Krishnaraja Wodeyar IV and Jayachamrajendra Wodeyar, also accepted the British decoration Knight Grand Cross of the most excellent order of the British Empire. ಇದು ಈ ಮೈಸೂರಿನ ಒಡೆಯರ ಒಂದು ಇತಿಹಾಸವನ್ನು ನೋಡಿದ್ದೇವೆ. ಎಕ್ಸ್ಪೆನ್ಷನ್ ಆಫ್ ಒಡೆಯಾರ್ಸ್. ದ ವಿಜಯನಗರ ಎಂಪೈರ್ distinguished in 1565. The power vacuum created soon after was exploited by Raja Wodeyar, ruled from 1578 to 1617. He expanded the borders of the Mysore kingdom and in 1610 changed the capital city from Mysore to Srirangapatna, a rare island formed by the river Kaveri, which provided natural protection against the military attacks. Later, famous rulers of the dynasty included Kantirava Narsaraja I, ruled from 1638 to 1659 CE, who expanded the frontiers of the Mysore kingdom to Tiruchi in Tamil Nadu. The dynasty reached its peak under Chikkadevaraja, ruled 1673 to 1704. who reformed the administration of the empire by dividing it into 18 departments called chowdis, and he also introduced the torrent system of taxation. So this was the expansion of the Wodeyars, special reference to the administration as well as the taxation system under the Mysore kingdom. Mysore under the control of Hyder Ali and as well as the Tipu Sultan. From 1760 to 1799, the rule of dynasty was essentially nominal, with the real power given in the hands of the Dalwai or commanders in chief. Hyder Ali and his son Tipu Sultan, who expanded the kingdom aggressively and introduced ambitious economic development program that established Mysore as a major economic power, but clashed with the British East India Company. After Tipu Sultan was killed by the British in the Battle of Sringapatna in 1799, the Wodeyars were restored to a reduced kingdom. ಮೈಸೂರು ಒಡೆಯರ ಒಂದು ಸಂಸ್ಥಾನವು ಹೈದರ್ ಅಲಿ ಮತ್ತು ಟಿಪ್ಪು ಸುಲ್ತಾನರ ಸರ್ವಾಧಿಕಾರಿಗಳಿಗೆ ಕಾರಣ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. ಈ ಸರ್ವಾಧಿಕಾರಿಗಳ ಅಧೀನದಲ್ಲಿ ಮೈಸೂರು ರಾಜ್ಯವು ಆಳಲ್ಪಡುತ್ತೆ. ಹೈದರ್ ಅಲಿ ಮತ್ತು ಟಿಪ್ಪು ಸುಲ್ತಾನರು ಬ್ರಿಟಿಷರೊಂದಿಗೆ ಹೋರಾಡುತ್ತಲೇ ವೀರಮರಣವನ್ನು ಅಪ್ಪುತ್ತಾರೆ. ಆದರೆ ಟಿಪ್ಪು ಸುಲ್ತಾನ್ ಕರ್ನಾಟಕಕ್ಕೆ ಅಥವಾ ಮೈಸೂರಿಗೆ ಕೊಟ್ಟಂಥ ಕೊಡುಗೆ ಏನಪ್ಪ ಅಂದರೆ ಅದು ಆರ್ಥಿಕ ಅಭಿವೃದ್ಧಿ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ಬೋದು. ಬ್ರಿಟಿಷ್ ರೂಲ್. ಮೈಸೂರು ಅಂಡರ್ ಬ್ರಿಟಿಷ್ ರೂಲ್. Gold pagoda of Krishna Wodeyar III, 1799 to 1868. The coin depicts Shiva seated holding his attributes of trident and a deer with his consort Parvati seated on his lap. The reverse reads Sri Krishna Deva Raja. After restoring the Wodeyars to the throne of Mysore, the British shifted the capital back to the city of Mysore from Sringapatna. The 4-year-old boy Mummadi Krishnaraja Wodeyar III, son of the last Wodeyar king Kasachamraja Wodeyar VIII, was appointed as the king of Mysore. Wodeyars were now subsidiaries of the British Raj and had to pay an annual subsidy to the British. However, the British took over the administration of the kingdom on a specious plea of non-payment of the subsidy by Mummadi Krishnaraja Wodeyar in 1831, and British appointed commissioners were then the charge of the kingdom. British commissioners administered Mysore from 1831 to 1881. In this regard, Mark Cubbon from 1834 to 1861 and Louis Bentham Bowring 1861 to 1878 are among the well-known commissioners of the period. In 1868, the British Parliament headed the King's plea and decided to restore the kingdom to his adopted son Chamraja Wodeyar IX. In 1881, the transfer of power back to the Wodeyars heralded an important phase in the making modern Mysore. For the first time in India, democratic experiments were introduced by the establishment of representative assembly. The next king, Nalvadi Krishnaraja Wodeyar, earned great fame as a saintly king Rajashri, and his kingdom was hailed as Ramarajya by Mahatma Gandhi as an ideal kingdom comparable to the one ruled by the historic hero Lord Rama under British hegemony. The Wodeyars, freed from security concerns, shifted their attention to the patronage of the fine arts. They made Mysore a cultural center of Karnataka, fostering a number of famous musicians, writers and painters. So during the British rule, the Wodeyars played very significant role to the development of art, architecture, painting, etc. End of the Wodeyars rule. ಮೈಸೂರು ಒಡೆಯರ ಒಂದು ಆಳ್ವಿಕೆಯ ಅಂತ್ಯವನ್ನು ನೋಡೋಣ. The last king of the Wodeyars dynasty was Jayachamrajendra Wodeyar, who ruled from 1940 until Indian independence from British rule in the year of 1947. After India attained independence, he gave his kingdom to the domain of India but continued as a Maharaja until India became a republic in 1950. He became the Raja Pramukh, a constitutional position as the head of Mysore state in the Republic of India from 1950 to 1956. After the recognition of the Indian states on a linguistic basis, he was appointed governor of the integrated Mysore state, present Karnataka state, in 1956 and held the post until 1964. Then he was governor of Madras state, now Tamil Nadu, for 2 years. The Indian constitution continued to recognize him as the Maharaja of Mysore until 1971, when Mrs. Indira Gandhi, then Prime Minister of India, abolished the title and privy powers of over 560 Maharajas. The Maharaja died in 1974. His only son, Sri Kantadatta Narasimha Raja Wodeyar, 1953 to 2013, was a member of the Indian Parliament for many years. ಜಯಚಾಮರಾಜೇಂದ್ರ ಒಡೆಯರು ಈ ಒಂದು ವಂಶದ ಅತ್ಯಂತ ಪ್ರಮುಖ ಮಹಾರಾಜರಾಗಿದ್ದರು. ಇವರು ಹಲವಾರು ರಾಜ್ಯಗಳ ರಾಜ್ಯಪಾಲರು, ಮೈಸೂರಿನ ಮಹಾರಾಜರು ಮತ್ತು ಕರ್ನಾಟಕದ ರಾಜ್ಯಪಾಲರು ಆಗಿ ಕೂಡ ಅಧಿಕಾರವನ್ನು ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ. ಕೋರ್ಸ್ ಆನ್ ಒಡಿಯಾರ್ಸ್. ಕೋರ್ಸ್ was believed to be cast on Wodeyars in 1612 by Allemellamma, wife of the king Tirumala Raja who ruled the Vijayanagara Empire. It is believed that when her jewels were being taken under the orders of the Wodeyars rulers, she ran over to the cliff overlooking the Kaveri river and cursed before jumping to death. Talakadu, Maralagali, Malangi, Muduvagali, ಮೈಸೂರು ಅರಸರಿಗೆ ಮಕ್ಕಳಾಗದಿರಲಿ. May Talakadu become a barren land, Malangi turn into the whirlpool, and may Mysore kings never beget children. 400 years since the Wodeyar dynasty never had any children for the alternate generations. Hence the adopted child becomes the king. Even till date, most parts of the Talakadu lie under the sand, and Malangi village in present Mysore district is slowly eroding due to whirlpool. ಅಲಮೆಲಮ್ಮಲ ಶಾಪ ಮೈಸೂರಿನ ಒಡೆಗೆ ತಾಕಿತ್ತು ಅನ್ನೋದಕ್ಕೆ ಇದೊಂದು ಅದ್ಭುತವಾದ ಉದಾಹರಣೆ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ಬೋದು. ಯಾಕಂದರೆ ಅವಳು ಹೇಳಿದ ಪ್ರಕಾರ ಅವಳ ಒಂದು ಆಭರಣಗಳು ಒಡೆಯರಿಂದ ಕಸಿದುಕೊಳ್ಳಲಾಗುತ್ತದೆ. ಆವಾಗ ಕಾವೇರಿಯಲ್ಲಿ ಬಿದ್ದು ತನ್ನ ಪ್ರಾಣವನ್ನು ಕಳೆದುಕೊಳ್ಳುತ್ತಾಳೆ. ತಿರುಮಲ ರಾಜನ ಪತ್ನಿ ಅಲಮೆಲಮ್ಮಳ ಕೊಟ್ಟಂಥ ಶಾಪದಿಂದ ಇವತ್ತು ಕೂಡ ತಲಕಾಡು ಮರಳಿಂದ ತುಂಬಿರುತ್ತದೆ. ಆಮೇಲೆ ಮಾಳಂಗಿ ಕೂಡ ಹಾಳಾಗಿರ್ತದೆ. ಮೈಸೂರಿನ ಒಡೆಯರಿಗೆ ಮಕ್ಕಳಿರೋದಿಲ್ಲ ಅಂತ ಇದು ಒಂದು ಅದ್ಭುತವಾದಂಥ ಉದಾಹರಣೆಯನ್ನು ಕೊಡಬಹುದು ನಾವು. ಈ ಮೈಸೂರಿನ ಒಡೆಯರನ್ನು ಕುರಿತು ಕೆಲವೊಂದು ಪಾರಮಾರ್ಥಿಕ ಗ್ರಂಥಗಳನ್ನು ತಮಗೆ ತಿಳಿಸಲು ಇಚ್ಛಿಸುತ್ತೇನೆ. ಡಾಕ್ಟರ್ ಎಸ್.ಎನ್. ಶಿವರುದ್ರಪ್ಪ ಅವರು ಬರೆದಂತಹ ಹಿಸ್ಟ್ರಿ ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ಕಲ್ಚರ್ ಆಫ್ ಕರ್ನಾಟಕ, ಡಾಕ್ಟರ್ ನರಸಿಂಹರಾಜು ನಾಯ್ಡು ಅವರು ಬರೆದಂತಹ ಇನ್ಸೈಟ್ಸ್ ಇಂಟು ಕರ್ನಾಟಕ ಹಿಸ್ಟ್ರಿ, ಪ್ರೊಫೆಸರ್ ಬಿ.ಪಿ. ಹುಗಾರ್ ಅವರು ಬರೆದಂಥ ಹಿಸ್ಟ್ರಿ ಆಫ್ ಕರ್ನಾಟಕ, ಡಾಕ್ಟರ್ ಕೆ.ಆರ್. ಬಸವರಾಜ್ ಅವರು ಬರೆದಂಥ ಕಲ್ಚರಲ್ ಹಿಸ್ಟ್ರಿ ಆಫ್ ಕರ್ನಾಟಕ, ಈ ಪರಮಾರ್ಥಿಕ ಗ್ರಂಥಗಳನ್ನು ತಾವು ಇನ್ನೂ ಹೆಚ್ಚಿನ ಅಧ್ಯಯನ ಮಾಡಬಹುದು. ಇದುವರೆಗೆ ತಾವು ನನ್ನ ಉಪನ್ಯಾಸವನ್ನು ಕೇಳಿದ್ದಕ್ಕೆ ಧನ್ಯವಾದಗಳು. ಥ್ಯಾಂಕ್ ಯು ಸೋ ಮಚ್ ಫಾರ್ ಲಿಸ್ನಿಂಗ್ ಮೈ ಲೆಕ್ಚರ್.